For this too?
We just had that on, no.
How long did she say she was gonna be?
Who?
Terry.
Long, she's gonna be what?
Is Terry coming?
Terry's not coming.
She had a niece pass away. So,
A niece? Oh my gosh, that goes nice. Wow, yes.
so we're just gonna run with who we got here tonight. Go from there. So we're ready? Okay. Being 6:43, we'll bring this Hermosa Town Board work session to order. Tuesday, August 23rd. Roll call, Hendrickson.
Here.
Holsworth's here, Kramer.
Yes.
Schumacher's absent, Thomason. Here. Okay, and we appreciate P&Z Board, Harris.
Here.
Urban.
Here.
Waltman.
Here.
Okay, appreciate the attendance in the audience tonight. Any changes to the agenda, Gail?
No, sir.
Any changes from the board? If not, a motion to accept the agenda is read.
I'll make that.
Hendrickson makes it, Russ second. Second by Thomason. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Under new business, we have our work session items, and item number A is the annexation of Gumbo Lily Fairgrounds Place, McDermott Street. I guess I'll open the comment on it. And we got one situation back where ACES have been trying to get the rest of the information on parcels and then put it together from there on where we were at on the taxation, since it seems like everything that we've gotten through Custer County has been wrong. They have not directed us in any good direction, and neither here nor there, that's where we're at, and that's why the circumstances with the commissioners also over there with the agricultural land, as you were there in the meeting too, did make a motion where they didn't accept it. Too many questions, too many irregularities in what we had for descriptions, and so we had agreed to it, and there was a lot learned again in that meeting also that I made mention to them that, you know, if they see items of nature like they had brought forward to us, that, yeah, the taxation may go down as it's changed and where it's at, but when they're annexed into the community, the mill levy has an effect, and that changes the tax level too. Well, they never chose to share that information with us and with ACES, and so, you know, like I explained to them, this is all a process where none of us are professionals that we have been trained to do this. We're all trying to go through it, trying to gather as much information as we can, go through the process, follow our professionals as far as what their recommendations are, and they're doing the best they can. And we still have situations where it didn't all pan out. So, in the circumstances of where we are, my feelings are, I guess, in the permitting process of some of the building permits we did early on, had we known where we are with annexation and approval of them, that would have probably changed where our stance is today. And being the good old boy syndrome, sometimes our hearts are more generous than what we think that is going to be a reflection down the road. The way it is now, I'm on feelings of if Fairgrounds Place Road, if we're not going to get more than 50% that are going to be voluntary down there, and as far as the agricultural end of it, that we take that out of the equation. If we're going to do that on Gumbo Lily and the agricultural end of it, we were trying to square properties up, we take the agricultural end of it out of that also. If we don't get enough people on Gumbo Lily to do the 50%, and that they don't realize or feel that the advantages of water sewer being paid for coming into their properties is enough advantage to help them increase their property limits, then I feel we take that out of the equation and we just eliminate it. And it's a purpose to where when it comes to a stance of annexation that will follow as what was mentioned in a meeting at the commissioners meeting, when development occurs, that's when we'll allow it to be happening with voluntary annexation. Otherwise, why put our pressures through this and the public and the board in the structures of what we are? It's brought character and personalities out that I never thought I'd see, but it's in circumstances like that that it's driven it to this legal and this position. So that's my opinion only. The rest of the board will have their opportunity to express where they think they are.
Is it time for questions?
No, it's still in the board, sir, so thank you.
I thought this was a workshop where we.
Right,
you
but
did
we're
it.
within the board section of it.
Because I only understood part of what you said there. And are you saying you're gonna take the Legion and the church out of this annexation proposal? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I just recommended,
That's
in
your
my
recommendation?
opinion,
Okay.
on this portion of it.
What's
So,
that?
On this segment of what we're doing on the annexation. My recommendation is take all of that out and
That's
approach
what,
only the Gumbo
75?
Lily residents and see if we still have 50% there. I know on Fairgrounds, we have several down there that wanted to come in. We can still ask them if there is that willingness down there, because there also was some advantages to them. But short of that, we can do a simple poll on Fairgrounds to find out who is and isn't, and that'll make our decision. We go down then, with Dermott Street, same way. Make a phone poll, yes or no. We go to Gumbo Lily, same way. Make a phone poll, yes or no. That gives us direction of what we're gonna do rather than spending any more funding or monies on going any further. To me, it's not worth spending the money to go to a public vote if we don't have voluntary annexation and enough participants. So it just makes no sense.
Well,
Comments
Dan,
within the board?
I guess I'd have to agree with
Kramer?
Well, I'm fine with that. I think that's a good idea. However, when the phone poll is made, we need the proper information of what the difference in the cost is gonna be per property, per owner, and we need the correct figures from Custer County, which they had not given us.
In 2 weeks. It was
And,
requested that long ago.
right, exactly.
Again.
Exactly. And it is an awful shame to me that Custer County did not give us the same information that they gave the public. Because it looks bad, it is bad, it was bad, and, but moving forward, we have to have the correct information when those phone calls are made.
Thomason?
I think anytime you go involuntary, if you don't get, you need to listen to the majority. So if the majority says they don't want it, then that's the way we go. I think that's the most fair way to do it, and keeps us out of it as well.
Correct. Hendrickson?
I agree with Brad, and I have questioned all the way along for particularly Gumbo Lily that there was a promise made that by April they were going to have all new water lines, all new sewer lines, the septic's dissolved, etc. We don't have the money to do that, so that's just not even a possibility. So why are we promising them things that we can't deliver?
I guess you're not up on the grant loan that we've been accepted on, and
I am,
that's included
we
in all
still
of that.
can't,
And I know
we
when,
still cannot cover it all.
and to answer your
Excuse
other,
me, I'm still talking.
pardon?
I said I'm still talking.
Oh,
It's
very
my
good.
time. Thank you.
Continue, please.
You do that just so that I forget what I
No,
want to say.
ma'am.
Yes, you do it continually. There's been too many promises put out there. There were promises to Paramount Point, none of which could be met. I don't think that these people are getting a fair shake on what they're being told they're gonna get in a timely fashion. I think it should be abandoned, the whole idea of annexation at this point in time, until we are financially stable again and can make those promises and back them up 100%.
Are you done, ma'am?
Yes, I am, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
So,
You know what,
yes,
Dan?
that
This
we are in
cynicism
a
needs to
position-
stop.
Excuse me.
The
Please bring it
cynicism
back to
needs
order,
to
ma'am,
stop.
Please. So, Harris,
I also believe that it's, if the people don't want it, then let's not do it. However, as far as your phone pole goes, definitely need the figures first for each lot. However, I would wait a bit to even get that because they are going around reassessing Hermosa right now. And so those figures, as soon as you get them, by the time the resident calls again, they will probably change.
Good point.
Good or bad, I mean, they will change and then once again, you won't have the correct information. And also, I guess, I would appoint a couple people to come up with whatever questions you want to ask along with your figures. But yes, I agree, hold off.
Waltman,
Yeah, I agree to hold out for now too, so. Joe said if they're reassessing everything right now, we might as well wait till we have the new information and then we definitely need to have the right questions and if you are promising new water and sewer lines north, I mean, we gotta have them grants in our pocket in order to do that and all of that, so.
thank you.
I pretty much agree with everybody else. I'd also like to throw in that I don't want to see us adding any more, especially sewer on right now until that new cell is built
Correct.
and we get the WRT system in so we know we have more than enough water to provide for everybody. Even though most of those people right now are already on our water.
Thank you. And I think, in conversations that we've had through the annexation, we've all had that wish list where April was our wish list, and that was brought up to them. There is never a guarantee
No
of
promise.
where we're at and no promises of anything. And the same way when we approached Paramount Point, I mean, that was a whole different wish list all on its own. And never was one that was ever promised. It was just, we were in the stages of the work session to try to put it together and let them know where we were at. And the involvement where we are. I think the biggest thing we need to remember, we were awarded the grant to do the extension on the lagoon. We are awarded the grant where it also has 30% grant loan forgiveness involved in it, which is applied to the Gumbo Lily project also for water sewer lines. That all comes out of that circumstance. In that circumstance also was all presented on what the user fees will be within that grant, which were all presented and explained all the way through that whole process. So every single bit of that has been laid out. As you're well aware, we have already made a motion to allow the engineer to move forward with the lagoon expansion portion of it. That's the first phase. Nothing else will happen until that phase of it is completed. As you're all aware of, that we also are waiting for the next round of monies for the WRT to be applied in end of October, 1st of November, which the county has committed to us at this point for that monies on that WRT. That's where our reassurance on the water is. We have done our work and we have done the preliminaries on it to reassure ourselves on that. And we have been approved for the new well and for the infrastructure on what we have on that portion of it. That portion of it though was all loan. And so that's why we have up to a year to accept that funding or not. So we have went back to the drawing board and asked USDA to also look at it. USDA has expressed to us that there's the possibility of 30% grant there. And that may be a better circumstance for us than to be able to save us on user fees. So that's where all of that is applied, and it isn't as if this is a brand new situation. We've been working on this for over 2 years, going on 3. Yes, sir.
I seen the last plan that Leah had done for the lagoon expansion and Gumbo Lily, but she put them together. I think it needs to be 2 separate deals.
They are.
They have been separated.
Okay, I
Given the-
must have missed
The
that on the
okay
board.
to have them separated, yeah.
They all go in on the same plan. When they're offered the DA and an R, and when we go in on our facility plan, they have to be listed that way. Black Hills Council, of course, goes through, puts the presentation together, and puts all the paperwork together. So then that's when that was all applied as a project list of everything that we are in there. If we get to the point where annexation doesn't happen on Gumbo Lily, we return them funds of that project. That's all it is to it on that situation.
Or we
But the
don't
way it
accept
is-
them.
Correct. And the way it is now, the project was set up that every home would have the water sewer brought to them within the reason of where it is on where their hookups are. So, you know, there was a couple that were unique, like Danny Nelson, that has quite a stretch there to go up to his property. But she looked at every layout on everything, and so we would re-examine everything on that portion of it. But that's what this loan grant was about when we did the facility plan, so.
Okay, no, the last one I seen was just all jumbled up and together, and I couldn't make sense of it, so I had to ask.
So with this, of course, being a work session tonight and being on here, we will discuss that and have motions then at the next meeting, that our town board regular meeting, that we want to move forward with the phone pole. We're hopefully going to get the taxes. We can make a call on that assessment of the taxing, if it's going to affect all the properties, or are they just doing certain areas, or, you know, when we were at that commissioner meeting and they were talking about it, they were doing spots of it and trying to hit that state limit, which is very difficult on the commissioners, because the state has put it where they want them to reach an 85% limit statewide to make the values compare all the way across the board for South Dakota. Well, the problems they're having is the comparisons in Sioux Falls to the comparisons in the rural areas. You can't just compare that way. So that's where their difficulty has been in that region and what they're trying to accomplish. So that's why they were examining properties as they go, the development, the sale of land, and then what their reassessments will be. So we hopefully will get a better answer on that and before our meeting on what that circumstance will be.
And if we don't get the answers we need, we'll just mark it pending until we have the correct answers. I think we just can't move forward without the correct information.
Correct. Okay? All right. Anything further on that subject before we go into concrete? Any discussion from the audience?
You said a lot of stuff there, I'm probably not familiar with it, but what I took away from this, and I understand that this is a recommendation body to refer this to the town board, but I count 4 board members here tonight. So what I'm saying, your recommendation is not to proceed forward with annexing parcels 75, 76, and 77.
Correct.
Thank you. You just took the wind out of my sail, man.
I'd wind it up.
Any other discussion before we move on? Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think you said that relative to all ag land in that list, right?
Correct.
And I included 75.
Well, but there's ag land in
Okay.
Gumbo.
I didn't see that.
It's not identified in the sheet,
Okay,
what is and what is not ag.
all right. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you. All right, with that being said, on work session number 2, item B, concrete ordinance. We went through that, and I think with the board here, we found that resolution.
Do you mind if I
No, I
go
would,
through them
please.
here? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so
Not enough people.
first off, we have the concrete ordinance P&C has been working on. A lot of hours, a lot of research, help from the community, and some contractors put in their 2 cents, which were all good suggestions and were incorporated into it. After the fact, going through some of my old flash drives actually, I found this resolution, 2006-4. which, I don't know, there's a 2006-4, correct, Gail? But it's not this.
That's correct.
It is something else. So you have two resolutions with the same number. The copy I had on my computer, not signed. I can't tell you if it ever was. But it's street specifications. It's done by our engineer at the time in 2006. It is got a whole section on sidewalks, parking, curbs, which is very thorough. So I guess what we have to decide is, would you want to take this one that was done by an engineer and turn it into an ordinance versus what it is? Eliminate this one, or keep them both and have concrete separate still.
Well,
Go
I
ahead,
can't
Kramer.
say they're exactly the same because this was done before I found this.
Because I know what my opinion is I totally feel that resolution can be turned into an ordinance. It
Yeah,
is such a good
It is.
good
It's-
backing, and everything you've done here, don't get me wrong. This was well put together.
Well, I would have to say, we probably paid very good money for this, and he does an excellent job. There's no doubt about it. He always has.
Yeah,
You know, he's good at that.
yeah. So my opinion is that. Go ahead, Kramer, I'm sorry.
no, all right. Is everything that was in here in there?
I can't say it is.
So we need to maybe do some review time and double check that everything that you felt was important at the time you created the new one is in the old one.
That's what I see. And actually more in the
As
resolution. than
you
there
looked
is
it
in that.
over, you've seen
Correct.
everything.
So I don't know, though, if it has like the finishing or the permitting or the nuisance, those types of things. I have no idea. I know it has everything concerning sidewalks thickness,
Yeah.
driveways thickness, all of that. I know it has that in here, same as this. I did check those. I didn't have time to check the framework, the backfilling, the finishings.
It's all, yeah,
It's all in there.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
If
3
it
different
is.
nights before I fell asleep getting through it, but it was there. And yours, you know, it was good reading and made it through that in an hour. But the comparisons, but I do want others to look through it, anybody that's had any kind
Well,
of
and the other,
construction.
the second thing about, you know, the one that engineer, of course, has all these diagrams that explain things more fully, you know, gives you a visual versus just the text, which I always like. It's a good thing.
I guess I'd like to review both of them too.
So I'd like that to be done. Go ahead, anybody else have comments?
Is there a place I can get that? Is it online?
Gail can email them to you, or she can
She
hand you a
has
printed
copies
copy.
here.
Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else?
Yep. Pass them
No,
on.
but
That, it was also online.
I still
I think
agree.
you might have to slide it.
Sorry. I still agree, this was done by an engineer,
It's excellent, absolutely.
so I think we should definitely compare the two, but yeah, if we have the same amount of information or more, then I don't see why we couldn't turn this into an ordinance versus a resolution.
Yep.
But yeah, homework needs to be done, so I will start looking at that one,
Well, and then it would be, you know, right on American legal, once it's an ordinance versus having to search for it.
Well, we need to straighten out the double resolution thing anyway.
Well, yeah, yeah.
That's
That would do
something
it,
we
and that
need
would do
to
it.
make a note of and handle instantly, since they aren't definitely with them American legal having that circumstance.
Well, American legal doesn't have our resolutions anyway. That's just,
Right.
yep. So, once you change this, it will be straightened out, and then you can send it to American legal to be published. And, hopefully they would number, I'm not good at the numbering. They want way too many numbers. I like these sections, that's good enough for me, but they want section 1000120. on every sentence. It gets to be too much.
Okay, anything further on that? Everybody do their review, come back with any comments. Next P and Z meeting, it'd be nice to have the comments, and then we can go from there to bring it back to the board. So, everybody from town board, get your opinions to Joan, and that way then we'll have it covered. Okay? All right, item C is the public works.
Okay, well, we had a little leak down,
Well, this isn't
oh, okay.
on that portion of it. Gail, you want to kind of touch a little on that, please?
Well, I actually think that was brought up by Linda, wasn't it, Linda, that you asked to have Public Works on to just start to discuss the future of Public
Yes.
Works?
Yeah, because I think it's just necessary that we have somebody in place, and right now, you know, Chuck is being trained by Chuck and knows more than most anybody else other than Chuck about our system. But I think that we need to go through the Public Works contract and go through that. I personally thought that with as much as Chuck Irvine is doing, that it's possible maybe he should be being paid by the town a little bit, maybe not full-time, but like a part-time wage. And I'm a firm believer that the person in that position should be a town employee rather than a contractor. And I know we differ on that, always have, always will. And but that's something that the board can discuss, and or I think we need to discuss it. I think it needs to be looked at again. I think the contract needs to be looked at again, Chuck's contract, you know, you don't have one.
Right.
But anyway, I think all that needs to be done. And I don't know, Gail, when is the contract due up? Is it this year or next year?
Next year.
Next year. So that gives us, you know, a year and a few months to go through it, look at it, make any changes, see if there's any changes that need to be made. Look at the possibility of price difference in employee compared to contractor, what it would do for the town, what it would not do for the town, you know, what's a better situation. And I just think it's time that there's a review on this.
And which has the better backup plan.
And which has the better backup plan, yep. Yep. I mean, when Bernie was here, you know, Chuck had taught him almost everything. He knew everything, but he's gone now, which is why Chuck is here, I mean, doing the job. And we appreciate that greatly. I appreciate being on the water committee when I come down and I'm watching you guys do your work. You always explain it very well to me. I appreciate that greatly. I just think there just needs to be research and everything needs to be looked at. So.
Any more comment from the board?
I think there's definitely a lot of benefits with having Public Works directly towards the town, working for the town. One specifically is they work for the town. They're not their own independent contractor where, oh, I'll get to it when I get to it. You actually work for the town, you get paid by the town. So if there's an issue that the town needs, guess what? You do that versus, oh, I'm on my own agenda because I'm a contractor, I'm contracted out, whatever. I do believe that we need to do research on and weigh the benefits and rewards versus anything else. But yeah, that is, I think, one of the biggest advantages that you would have having Public Works working for the town versus independently. I do believe that they should be fully licensed before that happens, but yeah.
There is a, as I recall, the state does give a year
Correct,
for the
yes.
person to be licensed.
Just like law
you
enforcement.
know,
and- correct,
Just
yeah.
in case of an emergency situations, you know.
Exactly.
But yes, the licensing is a big deal. That's and I also understand that the cost to the town, that would mean if it was a full-time person, it would mean insurance, it would mean retirement, it would mean benefits, and those are costly things now. And maybe the cost won't, maybe it won't weigh out, but the research needs to be done, I
Correct, I
think.
agree.
Sorry.
No, you're good. And I mean, it's also one of those where why not pay those? I mean, if you are working for the town, if you're doing a town service, why not get those benefits from the town
Correct.
versus not having them at all? So, yeah, it might be more cost effective to have a contractor, but what's better for the town? Is it better to have our own public works or to have a licensed contractor? So, yeah,
Have someone on hand.
exactly.
Please, we're in the board and we'll come back.
Okay,
So,
no, that's fine, excuse me.
Something you need to all remember, well, is there other board comment?
Well, I'm thinking that you need a public works person, but you probably still are gonna have your contractors
Right.
to do all your excavations, all of that kind of stuff, because that's way too much expense for the town to pick up
Yeah.
right now, to have all that own equipment, all of it.
And I would
But if you
say
had a
that.
public works guy that was supervising whoever was doing
Right.
all that, you know, might be the way to go, so.
Mhm.
And plus, along with that, to get your licenses, you have to work under somebody licensed for 2 years.
Correct.
And they've got to already be certified to do that, and we've already done that with what I already have.
Mhm.
So we're working toward that. It would be really, and speaking for myself here a minute, it would be beneficial for me to have, especially the insurance and so forth that I don't have much of now. But the other thing is, and I'll probably get my butt chewed tomorrow for this one, but when we have something like the emergency down here today, we jumped right on that as soon as we found it, but I have to sometimes really push pretty hard to get the little jobs done. Sometimes he rides me to get them done right away, but by getting up that tank, because I think he's scared to let me even climb the tank, even though I've been up there several times. You just see that he's on edge when I'm up there, and I'm not. But he keeps putting that job off. If I was, I would still need to be under him anyway for a while, because I still have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And yes, like you said, we can't afford the equipment that Chuck already has. Eventually, maybe I get to take over Ferguson Construction when he does retire, I don't know. But that buys hopefully quite a few years yet. But it would allow me a little bit more to say, hey, I've got to go do this. The board has said this has to be done in the next 3 days. I gotta go get it done.
Further from the board. I think that too, what we've always done in the contracting portion of it, we've been lenient about that side of it, and we have emphasized what needs to be done when, why. And that will come in review of the contract also. I think what we also need to remember is with regionalization, if something like that were ever to come about, that changes the whole public works status. And so that needs to be kept in the back of your minds too when we're doing this review, that we're going to be in them circumstances possibly,
Right.
possibly not. But it's a situation where we need to review that and look at that. I've always said, if we get to a second-class municipality, we know we're going to bump into a public works position. Third class, the liability side of it has always been great with the contractor side of it, and in his circumstances, it allows him to work and make the extra monies and still take care of what we have here because of what the needs are. When you go to a second class, that becomes a lot more demanding. So that'll be the other side of it that we kind of look at too and keep an open mind to. But it's great to review everything on what we're doing, and we need to put ourselves into that positioning and that level. Okay? Anything else further from the board? Gail, did you have anything else to add?
No.
Comment from the public?
I have one.
Yes.
I agree with you guys bringing someone into the town, because where I came from in Lochbuie, Colorado, it was a town just like this, really small, and they had all the contractors coming in, and then they finally hired someone to stay with the town, and they had more respect for the town to do things on what they had. And if anything emergency comes up, they lived in the town, they dealt with the town, and that's how they did. But no, that's what, just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Okay, so what will be the next step is each one of you to get a copy of the public works contracts. There's one for water, one for sewer, and then the snow removal is involved in that. So that way each one of you can start reviewing that. And we can set up another work session to come back to the public works and make that segment of the work session. Always other items get added, and will always get added. So we will always continue to move forward with that aspect, and that's the beauty of our agendas, that we can add. So we'll get them, we'll review them, start our process now, and that's going to put us ahead of that contract time. And it isn't that we can't change in that contract now. Just because he has another year doesn't mean we can't put more responsibilities in there. You know, in our budget, we put more monies in there for him on wage-wise. If there's more responsibilities, as we've always in the contract already put in there, his responsibility is to the town, and that emergencies are to be dealt with immediately. The monitoring and the state levels are to be monitored. I mean, all of that is in there and what his responsibilities are. And if circumstances aren't followed in that way and there's a state entity, then he becomes responsible and not the town. So that's a portion of that liability. That is a good thing that a contractor's there and not the town. So there's a flip side to every side of that coin, and why our reasonings were that we did what we did 20 plus years ago. So, okay, with that being said, then we'll move forward where you guys can do that review, and we'll do another work session. I don't know, with us being in August, if we want to look at something towards the end of September for another work session after P&Z, or do you want to, it actually works good to coordinate it with P&Z.
It really does work well.
So maybe that second meeting of P&Z, then in September, which would be what, the 20th?
Can I move it to October? This is not a rush situation on this particular contract,
Yeah.
and
Well, the only reason, I don't know, on like the annexation, you know, with that going to P&Z also, that we're gonna have circumstances that we'll be reviewing that. So that was my only thought, that we might coordinate, but October would be fine with the public works side of it. It's just a matter, if you see something in that contract that you think needs to be looked at sooner than, and changed, then we need to start getting all eyes on it.
Well, and we should be looking into the statement of work of these contracts regularly anyway.
Yeah.
I would say once a year, we review the statement of work, and if it has to be adjusted, then we do that regardless of how long the contract is, because there's always something that, anything can be perfected, anything could come up. So, yeah, I think it should just be regularly, once a year, we review statement of work. If it's good, it's good, but that way it can at least be adjusted if needed.
See, and we didn't go to the 2-year, 3-year thing until just in the last 5. And that's why we always have put eyes on it, and we always do put eyes on it every year anyway. So that's something that comes about. So if we want to look at the 18th of October, possibly for the next work session, which would be P&Z also, for Public Works.
No, of October?
It's the 11th.
It's
The
the
25th
the
is the
18th is a
last
board meeting.
Yeah.
Oh,
25th is your last one.
Yeah.
18th is our board meeting.
Correct.
Now, this one don't have all the P and Z and town board, but, oh yeah, 'cause we skipped that first one.
We're first and third, they're the second
Yeah,
and fourth.
Exactly that, but I mean, October, we missed that first full week, I see that now, that the 27th is down there, so theirs would be a pickup then on the 25th. So it'd either be the 11th or 25th that we do a session with P and Z.
either one works for me,
25th.
25th.
Yeah, either one's fine with me.
Doesn't matter, whatever works for the board.
So we do the 11th? Okay, so the 11th it is that we do a combined work session. Is that okay with you, Chuck?
Yep.
Okay. And that'll be on Public Works, and if there's anything else that pops, we'll address that too. Okay, anything further on that subject? If not, we'll go to item D, mosquito spraying.
Okay, I have to apologize. I thought this meeting was gonna be way longer and I didn't think we'd ever get to it, so I told Monty not to bother coming. I can call him and see if he has
Or
time to
just-
come, or I can just tell you what
Yeah.
His concerns are. his concerns are that, there are now several people within the town limits that do not want him to spray near their property. And, he is dealing with it. But it is a concern, and, he wanted maybe thought we should do some more research and get it out there, what the chemicals do, what they don't do.
Yeah, really get out there to the people so they know. I mean, West Nile, South Dakota was the #1 state in the US for West Nile this year.
Right.
Luckily, it wasn't here because we were dry.
Thank God.
But I mean, when we get a wet year again, them mosquitoes are here, and I mean, so, I mean, the other thing I know, he said he's got a couple people that are even opposed to the larvicide that he puts out. They don't want that anywhere around on their property. And from what I know of that does not affect amphibians, fish, anything like that. It's about the safest thing there is, you know. And so, I mean, I just think we're gonna have to address if we have to have an ordinance. I mean, you either fog or you don't fog, is my opinion. You don't skip somebody's, you know, and if none of the residents want the town fog, then I guess we don't have to spend any money on it anymore. That's one of them things too, just like, you know, I mean, so, but you can't skip around.
It-
Brent probably brought the biggest thing up, I'm
You're
sorry,
fine.
when he was gonna do beehives.
Yeah.
And he looked into the chemical, and they do not affect them.
No, most,
They don't hurt
most,
the good bugs.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think we need to gain more of that information, but, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I agree with you, we need that information out there. But one of the things is that, the main reason for doing this is the West Niles. I mean, many years ago, that was a big issue.
Still is.
And, right, still is. And that's why we really got on it, you know, was to prevent our community from getting that. And it's still here, it's still present. It's maybe not as bad as it was, you know, but it's still here and present. And I think we have to decide as a town, maybe, or the public needs to help decide, or whatever, whether it really is important enough to them, or whether it's a decision of the board to make that it is a safety concern for the public. That's why we started it. And
Health, safety, and welfare.
health,
That's
safety, and
why
welfare.
we did what we
Exactly.
did and what we put together. Yes,
Mhm.
ma'am.
Well, I think the season is almost over.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking if we start next year by February or March, inform the citizens, get the information out there, whether we do a mailing or put it on Facebook, whatever, however we decide to do it, get it all out there. Then have a public meeting after that, after they've had a chance to review the information. Have a public meeting and get the viewpoints.
I think with Lon being in the spraying as much as you are for the DOT, and Monty is involved as he is, and very, very cautious about everything and very thorough on what he does with the larvicide. And I would love to see Monty and you and Linda dig as much info as you can, and we put it on a public works thing, and you do such great research too.
Well, one other thing I would mention is that if you wanted to have a public meeting, I had Monty come down to Fairburn last year and talk to the citizens and the board, because they were all against it. There wasn't a single person, well, it was the year before last, in favor of spraying or worrying about, they didn't worry about standing water, anything like that. And Monty was an excellent speaker, explained it slowly and thoroughly. And that's why South Dakota puts out those grants, is because it is a danger and a safety issue. And when you accept those grants, you normally have had to tell them how you're going to inform the public. You know, that's part of writing the grant. And so they have a whole website devoted to that, where you can download the South Dakota's information on West Nile and whatnot, and send it out if you want to, or just print posters and post them, you know, whatever. But as I said, Monty was an excellent speaker, and he would be a good one to have come to your public meeting.
I think it would be a good idea for us to have the data sheet posted on our website of that specific spray, so that one, people aren't questioning it. It's not a matter of trustworthiness or anything else. Here's the facts, here's what's going on, this is what's included, this is what it does, what it doesn't do. And then that way the people can read it for themselves. And then, like Joan said, have a public meeting. But this way everyone can see what's actually in it, what it does and what it doesn't do. Because I mean, it's just, there's so much of what he said, she said, this, that, and the other thing, and this is black and white. And there's nothing else but facts on there.
It's true.
We have we have an entire ingredients list of everything that is in there. We have down there, and I can bring it up, and it can be put up anywhere. I can get a copy real quick and bring it up.
And then that October meeting, we could list it as a meeting also, that mosquito discussion will be on it if we want, and start it now, so that information is out there, and that way we've got it all there. One quick thing I'll share, that I was looking at a area we're gonna go elk hunting. Pardon? Yeah, once we're done with the board here, I'll come to the public again. But this gentleman has 50,000+ acres that he guides hunts on, and he has a 450 acre marsh that he has, and they've had that blue tongue disease that's hit the antelope and the deer so badly. And what they have found, and he has found, is that this mosquito spray for West Nile with fogging it and the larvae kills that mite that is causing the blue tongue. And so he's trying to get Game Fish and Parks to realize what he's doing, and he has used it on several of his properties, he has more than one, to have the same results. And they have went from where they were losing $25 to $50 a year down to 2 or 3. So with what he's doing has been a proven thing. He also has his cattle, he has buffalo, he has pheasants, he has grouse, he has turkeys, all in the same areas that he's doing it, and none of the other livestock, of course, is affected, or any of the other animals affected by it. So it was quite a testimonial on what he has learned on that circumstance of Game Fish and Parks. and the landowners will start applying this process, they could really hurt that blue tongue disease and savor the wildlife side of it, so. Any further comment from the board members? Gail, anything?
No.
Public, please.
Chuck, do you know what the name of that is called?
Not off the top of my head, and I've read about 200 chemicals this week. And I can get
Well,
it.
I was one of the people that does not want to have mosquito spraying, only for the fact of the bees. But when I'm out in the morning, I have 3 bird baths out there, and the entire thing is covered in honeybees getting a drink in the morning. Now, I know the fogger goes by on Whitney because I've seen it. Now, in the last week since that's happened, I've seen 2 bees, and the ants are carrying them off. So something has affected them, and they're not on the bird bath anymore. And I know Junior had a whole semi-shipment of bees brought in for his place over there, so I don't know.
It's, because it's so dry, there's not enough flower out there to actually, bees only travel 5 miles a day, all right? I'm a beekeeper, I have my hives up there at Jim's place. So this spray has not affected my hives at all, but yeah, that's specifically what it is, and is bees can only travel 5 miles a day. That's as far as they can travel, and with it being so dry, unless you're watering flowers all the time, then they're not able to get enough nectar that they need. If you look on my deck, I have flower boxes crazy because of my bees, so I can keep feeding my bees. But that's specifically the reason, because I brought up the same issue with Dan, because everything of mine is bee friendly. I will not get anything if it's not. In fact, I went as far as to go get praying mantis for my yard. I got 2 cocoons to hatch in my yard so that I wasn't putting stuff on there that I knew would harm my bees. So,
That's good
but
to know.
yes,
Thank you.
I would not let anyone spray anything if they affected my bees.
And I think they all moved to my place because our stream and
probably
pond
did.
are loaded with
Are you making
honeybees right now, so.
We don't have enough honey this year yet, but next year we will have enough to where we can start giving it
Sharing
or
with the
selling it.
public.
Yep, exactly.
Good to know.
Cold and all.
Linda, you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just gonna tell you, Connie, in my yard, all the bees are hiding in my celery plants and my Swiss chard. I mean, you go next to those, if you touch them, they're just,
Go
they,
ahead.
That's good.
like crazy. And I have never seen that before, ever. But there's more moisture in those two
I suppose.
Yeah, those are
kinds of
90%
plants.
water.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, very interesting. It's been that way for, what, 3 weeks about? When we noticed it, about 3
Probably
weeks
something
ago?
like that.
They have the bigger
And if
balloons,
Monty
so
can't
they,
talk, then Brett can, because
Yeah.
he's apparently the bee guy. Did
they,
he?
Yeah.
they have bigger balloons, so they retain their moisture a lot more, so the
Right.
bees are more attracted to them. But yeah, that's why I have pumpkins and cucumbers, because they have the bigger balloons. They keep the moisture, they last longer, bees love them a lot better, plus it gives them a place to hide as well. So, yeah.
You got cucumbers? My cucumbers
I-
went with crap this year,
I
excuse
have-
me.
Yeah, I've got the Romanian cucumbers and the English cucumbers.
Anything further?
Yes. The other thing Monty mentioned was there are a lot of several dead birds in the area. And he would like permission from the town to send it in and have it tested to see what's going on there. Even though it's also an issue with the dryness, it could be that, he would like permission to send that in.
See, West Niles affect birds
Right, of course.
first, correct, so I mean, that's one of the,
Oh,
Wow.
That'll be something we'd have to actually do in a meeting, to allow him and put it on the agenda, and then we can make a motion to allow it to happen.
Thank you.
I don't think there'll be any pushback, and I think the board will approve it, and if he wants to send it in, well, if he's got it in the freezer or something, and it's
Yeah, I don't know.
held, and, you know. he
There may
wants to
be a
test it.
cost though to the town.
Right,
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's worth
maybe
it
you can
though.
find
if
more
it's-
out about that. He could call the state lab and ask them what it would cost to send one in and have it tested for West Nile. Or maybe it's in the grant. And I don't remember when we did our mosquito spraying, and we did a resolution with the grants, when we applied to grants to
No,
do
we did
anything.
not.
So we'll probably have to look at that, that we'll do a resolution. That way then it's in writing that we are going to do the town, that everybody's been made aware of it, and then through a resolution, you do the same as an ordinance where you do the readings of it and announce it. So it'll be published and everybody will be aware of it. So once we've done our research, once we've done our looks, then we can look at a resolution.
Is this spray approved by the state?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
they
So-
provide it.
South Dakota is the third leading apiary state in the country. So I highly doubt South Dakota will approve a chemical
Right,
that is not
Right.
been be safe approved.
yeah.
Yeah, we are the third largest state in the US that has apiaries and bees.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
There's certain sprays that some states have already blocked.
Correct.
And only a list that they can come in, so our
Yeah.
shipper that ships it in to us, or
Mhm.
to Monty, but we've got it down there. Those are only approved by our state, and that's
Mhm.
listed in there.
I think that would make people a lot
Yep,
More comfortable.
more comfortable. Yeah.
more education, more public.
And if they have any questions about bees, send them my way. I've done all my research. I love bees.
Okay, I have one more item. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but here in just very recent times, a week, flies are getting more prevalent. And I know that that does just happen in the fall anyway. However, when I was reading meters, I noticed that the dumpster down at the fairgrounds, which is as long as this room, was heaping high full of trash. And the fair's been over now for a week,
It's horrible.
and it's horrible.
I just talked to Jim, he's like, I had no idea. So he was gonna call tomorrow.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I stopped and talked to Doreen and Alan, and the stench was so bad on their porch, I'm like, it smells like somebody was murdered down there. That food that's in
Awful.
there,
And
it's
the
bad.
flies are getting all up into town.
Yeah.
And so that just can't be. So I don't know if, I mean, I know there's also a thing where maybe they couldn't get the garbage guy to come, but they need to order it ahead of time, a year ahead of time, to get it on the day after the fair, to get that out of.
Yeah.
For one thing, I wouldn't think the cows would like it down there, the steers or whatever, you know. I think, God, but
I do.
anyway.
A
Thank you,
quart-
Connie.
A quart Ziploc bag filled a quarter full of water. Put it right in front of your doorway. Like hang it up while your door opens up the very top.
Mhm.
The light reflects off of the water and it keeps the flies from coming in the house.
I don't have the
Really?
problem in the
What?
house, but
Do
thank
that
you.
again.
Yeah, say that.
So you take a quart
My
Ziploc
screens with
bag
the water.
and you fill it a quarter full with water. And then right inside your door, your entry door, you let it hang down maybe a quarter of the way, put thumbtacks or a nail or whatever to keep it there. The light, when the sun hits it, actually reflects or refracts from the water and it blinds the flies, so it detracts them from coming into the house.
Sweet.
So you do that, and if you have more than one
How do you
door,
do that when you go and got a slider and it's like
but yeah, it'll keep them from actually coming in. So you put it on the inside, that way you don't have to worry about a door. And most people put it like, I put it on my crown molding,
Okay.
so that goes around the door. Just let it hang down just enough to where the light will hit it, but that detracts the flies from coming in.
Apparently, he doesn't have that problem that we have, does he?
Yeah.
Okay,
Dan, is it
Well-
appropriate to talk about garbage for just a moment, or not, or since it's not on the agenda?
and just discussion.
Okay. Well, we've been having a little bit of issue with garbage collection since, actually since about the time that we signed the new contract. And such as what happened this last week was that, and everybody's supposed to have their garbage out by 6 o'clock a.m. But what's happened is that they're not coming until mid to
6
late
p.m.
afternoon and
Two to three.
6 p.m.,
Yeah,
6
so
or 7?
people have gotten a little lackadaisical about putting it out by 6 o'clock,
Yeah,
6
and
o'clock
then
in the
day
morning.
that you don't, then they come early.
And that's exactly what
Right.
happened
5
last
a.m.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Oh, and you should have seen them going through town.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they just glanced on the street, and if there was no green can, it was,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I heard that.
Exactly.
I heard that.
So
So
you
I
need to
called
send
Fred.
an email.
I
Yeah.
talked to Fred, and I told him that we're really having concerns here because it's like right after we signed the contract with them, it just went to, and well, part of that was a couple months ago was they had a family tragedy and with one of the drivers, but now, so he's going to come out, I think, and he or one of his managers are going to come out on Thursday and ride with the rider and find out what's going on, why we're not consistent because of like you said,
should be
I heard
fairly
that they went
consistent.
through town, and then there were people that were like going, wait a minute, the garbage man's coming through town because they could hear him, and
Yep.
they were mad rushing to get their garbage out,
man,
and
we went down the street, and Randy's like, stop.
yeah, really,
Yeah. It was barely 8 o'clock, I'm not sure it was 8 yet.
It wasn't.
No, it was not, yeah, because
And he never comes until 2 or 3 at the
Exactly.
earliest.
yeah, so
And he had someone with him. So we wondered if he was trying to train someone by just showing him the route and not picking up or what.
I put mine out the night prior and consistently, except for last week, 6 p.m. is when they pick up my trash. Last week, it was like 5:30 or 6 o'clock a.m.
It was
that
early.
they
Yeah.
picked it up.
It was
And
before
I was
8
like,
is all I
holy cow.
remember. But
So,
I-
yeah.
yeah, I mean, Brett was one of them that got really hit really hard when that whole fiasco about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
He had to call, I think, 3 times
3 or 4 times. both.
before.
Yeah.
So I talked to Fred today.
Well, we'll just
And-
get a response at the next meeting and how things are going.
Okay. And we did put it on the back of the water bills today that it really they should be out by 6 a.m. I know people are gonna go, well, why? They don't come until 6 p.m. But again, a
The
fluke,
hard
they
part is
came
that
last
we
week.
have the high winds.
I
That's
I know.
I don't
Yeah.
like to put it out the night
Yeah.
before just for that reason.
Exactly. Well, and I usually don't like it, but with it being so inconsistent,
What are you gonna
because
do?
the only access is that alley for me, so I don't want to accidentally block the alley or anything else, but if you don't put it out far enough, they won't pick it up. And it's like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any issues until we re-signed that contract, and now it's just shit. Pardon my language.
It is.
Lightly.
And I think it's exactly what you said, the inconsistency
Yeah.
is more annoying than anything.
No, we'll follow
But,
that through
okay.
too. All right, item number 5, items from citizens, any more comment? If not, trustee input. Hendrickson,
Just for a general info, Terry is not here because her niece passed away.
Who, which niece?
Brother Randy's son Zane's ex-wife.
Oh,
She had
Tammy
colon
died?
cancer, yes.
Can't believe my cousin didn't even tell me.
She told me about this morning, so.
thank you for that input. Thompson,
Great work session. We got a lot done. Really good.
thank you.
Yeah, I agree, got a lot done with this work session.
Kramer.
We made it rain, yay! It was good, good meeting.
I think it was a great meeting, we learned a lot of things, and I think it went very smoothly.
I agree, that's.
Anything from you, Gail?
No, thank you.
Okay, and I appreciate everybody being here. We've got a lot of homework to do. We'll put it together. We have our dates. It'd be nice to see you at the next P and Z. Keep everything moving forward in a good direction, and we'll keep everything positive, and let's fix our problems, not create them. Motion to adjourn
I'd make that.
at 7:46 by Hendrickson,
A second.
second by Thomason. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
I mean, there's one thing I almost forgot, and it doesn't need to be on the record, but when we were talking about the cement stuff, I said that I would look into the the